One. What's going on, my boxing brothers and sisters? Apologies for yesterday. We missed Major Key Monday uh, due to technical issues, so I do apologize for that. Especially apologize to my brother right here, Jerry Cooney,
Oh, I'm open.
who was here. Willing to grant us some of his time to speak about boxing, and unfortunately, we had to reschedule for today because of my issue. So it wasn't on anyone else's account; it was just on mine. So I have to take accountability right away. Nevertheless, we're here making it up to you guys. You know, just like a Canelo versus Yildirim. You know, we're making it up in February. So here we go. So we're going to talk about the fights going on this weekend. We're going to talk about the state of boxing. We're going to talk about many things, but first and foremost, Jerry Cooney, how you doing, brother?
Hey, you know what? I'm grateful to be on with you. I was up with Larry Holmes yesterday. He had a golf tournament today in Pennsylvania where he lives. He does every year. His wife puts on a charity to raise money for kids and needy causes. And O.J. Simpson, Bruce Harper, so many guys were there. We had a great time. Sunday, I didn't play golf. I had to come on the radio this morning, so I came home. But it was a great time. Larry Holmes, it's always great to be with Larry Holmes. I love that guy.
That's what's up, man. You know, actually, we try to reach out to Larry, and we're probably going to have him on soon. I think we were dealing with his publicist, so we should have him on soon. But nevertheless, man, I'm glad you had a great time with that. Again, with you, if anybody doesn't know, tell people who know. I mean, we introduced you before, but just for the newer fans, because we've gained some fans since the last time. And by the way, we had nothing but great words about you last time. Everybody was excited to see you. As a matter of fact, I'm friends with a promoter. I've done a couple of prospect watches with a couple of new boxers. Okay, and the promoter for those new boxers hit me up early in the morning one day, and he said, "Man, I saw Jerry Cooney there yesterday, man. He looked full of life, man. That was great, man. That was great. He was more excited about your interview than anyone other that I've had, you know." Well, so shout out to you for that, man.
I love boxing. It's in a great place right now. Obviously, we got stuck in the pandemic, but we have such great matchups just waiting in the wings. And we need a little prodding, a little pushing, but they're going to happen. And we're going to be able to sit in front row and watch them. It's going to be great.
That's what's up, man. So before I start passing it around, because Troy's got the next question, I'm just going to introduce the people to the building. We only sent out a couple of links today just for people that we know. So Boxing Logic United is in the room. He's the one that interrupted you last time. So he wanted to make it up to you this time. Had to put him on the spot. But then Bruce Goes is here too. You know what I'm saying? So Bruce Goes knows a lot. He actually remembers these things off the top of his head, going back to I don't know what's the first fight you ever watched, Bruce?
Salute, Major. The first fight I saw, I was coming home one night. I think it was Jerry Quarry and George Chuvalo.
Okay. So
1969, I believe it was.
Okay, so that's how far he goes back. Yeah. So Troy, my brother, what questions do you have, man? Before we start moving around the panel.
Jerry, good to see you. Know, the last time you were here, we were so active, we really didn't get into you. We pretty much were talking about so many things, but here we are in 2021, and we're in the era of giants, I guess. When as far as the heavyweights go, 6'9", 6'7", 6'6", and 6'4", and all that. Back in your day, you being 6'5", 230 pounds, Jerry, 35.
230 pounds. I was 6'6", and a half. I was big for that day.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure they labeled you the giant, and they had to find you were like Goliath, and they had to find you a David, huh?
It's amazing, I see these guys 6'7", 6'8", 6'9". If I'm fighting those guys, I'm getting to the body. I'm not going to stay outside and try and box them. I'm going to get inside and break a couple of ribs, slow them down a little bit. You know what I mean? And it's a lost art for a while. I think that the amateur boxing didn't score body shots, and they kind of gave up on it a while, but it's coming back. And you talked about giants. There's not just in the heavyweight division, lightweights, welterweights, super middleweights, light heavyweights. I mean, it's just huge today.
Well, Jerry, you know what? I tell you what I noticed when it comes to the guys that fight at 147, and maybe all the way to 160, they seem smaller than the guys that came before them. They're 5'7", 5'8", whereas the Leonards were like 5'10". Tommy Hearns was 6'1". Hagler was 5'9", I think. So he might have been around that size, but those guys seem a little smaller for this era.
But they can fight. They're very
Yeah.
excuse me. They're very talented guys. Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford. Come on. We got Ortiz, a kid coming up is a phenomenal beast. Man, you know, obviously Errol Spence is fighting Pacquiao. I think it's a bad fight for Pacquiao, and I hope that somewhere down the line Pacquiao reigns, because he's giving too much money away, and he needs to get on with his life and let these younger guys take over the division.
All right, and this is the last question. I'm glad you brought that up, Spence and Pacquiao. How do you see that going? You know, with your professional eyes and all that. How do you see that fight playing out?
I got to tell you, it's a great question, and you know, I was surprised when I saw Showtime Shawn Porter fight Errol Spence. I thought Errol Spence was going to have an easy time with him. He didn't. Shawnee Porter kept the pressure on. I was surprised in that fight. But you have to really take your hat off to Shawnee Porter, because he's been the guy who's done that with everybody he gets in there with. And I think Errol Spence is a great fighter. Did the accident have any effect on him? It didn't seem so when he fought in his last fight. But, you know, Manny Pacquiao is a very talented guy. He's strong as a bear. He's older. So I look at it as Manny Pacquiao can no longer fight 3 minutes out of the round. He fights 1 minute out of the round, and he plays around and messes around the rest. You can't get away with that with Errol Spence. Errol Spencer constantly puts the pressure on you, keeps moving in and getting close to you. And he's a natural welterweight. He's not a 112-pound. It moved up to 47. He's a 47-pounder.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, Myron, and then you, Bruce.
Thank you.
Bruce Bruce
Bruce is here first.
And listen,
okay.
Listen, this is a no smoking show here, boys. Put them cigarettes out of my
Oh boy!
That's why I put myself on camera off, so you don't see me smoking or taking a sip.
That ain't good for you. That's no good for you, bro.
You're absolutely right, sir.
Go ahead, Bruce.
Go ahead, Bruce.
Hey, Jerry, it's a pleasure to be on a panel with you again, man. I remember talking to you a couple of weeks ago, brother, man. Troy, Major Key, thanks for sending me out here, Boxing Logic. Bro, last time I talked to you, my heart went out to you talking about Fist, man. I'd really like to see people learn more about that, support that, man. That's such a great thing, man. I wish I was a billionaire and I could just build a huge complex to take care of former boxers, because, man, it's a shame how some of them end up after fighting careers over, man. But I'd really like to compliment you on that and to get the word out on Fist. Is there anything you'd like to say about that?
I'd like to say it's been on the shelf for a while. And we have been talking about, if every fight that takes place around the world, you took $1 from every ticket and put it into a foundation over 2 or 3 years, there wouldn't be no more problems. Why it doesn't happen, I don't know. The government doesn't want to get involved. Somebody's got to say $1 out of a ticket. Throw it into a fund. Hire a couple of people to manage it. Get these guys the help they need when they fought their asses off all their lives, supplying, fans with great fights. And now they're walking on their heels a little bit. They got nowhere to go. They need help. We need to help these guys. Listen, I do charities 4 or 5 days a week, helping the less fortunate, because I can and because we're supposed to do that. Fighters are so great. Remember Joe Louis during the World War II when he fought, who's the German guy? He knocked him out.
Max Schmeling.
The America stood up and we breathed deeper. We felt stronger. That's what sports does to us. We got to take care of those guys.
Definitely, Major. We're definitely gonna have to put a link up there so we can get in touch with Jerry and his wife and this foundation, and we can help it grow, because, man, if we don't take care of these former boxers, nobody will.
No.
Jerry,
Man,
God
bless the foundation.
All you got to do is message me the info. I can add it later on to the description of this same live.
Well, listen, guys. Like I said, It's been sitting on the shelf. We found out we couldn't get the help we needed to get these guys. They have medical, alcohol, drug abuse, spousal problems, getting work problems, and they have never learned to save their money, how to develop a career after boxing. It's so deep and troubled that we need the government or boxing world to come involved. And like I said, $1 per ticket, throw it in the foundation, hire a couple of people to manage it, and get these guys the help they need. That's what we need for boxing today. For those poor guys who broke their ass for us in the past, they need our help right now.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That's what's up. Myron, go ahead, brother.
Okay, well, an idea came from me on continuing that topic. Do you think I say this personally because my little man, not my son, but one of my good friends, close friend's son, just is in the Junior Olympics right now in Lubbock, Texas. He just won the bronze medal. Nice. Everybody, please give a shout out to Eric Spencer Jr.
All right, Eric Spencer.
Do you think it would be somewhere in the amateur ranks where you got like the Junior Olympics, that it'd be wise if somebody like the Junior Olympics or any of the like boxing gyms, that has a lot of talent, boxing talent, say like, for instance, a Top Rank, a PBC, and a say the Zone? Do you think it would be healthy that for their super young talent, the very, very young talent coming up, the prospects, for there to be a finance workshop in place for the fighters?
Listen, here's a story in the past, in the future, and today, is that when the fighter gets too smart, he doesn't want to fight anymore. So the managers pay their bills, they pay their insurance, they do their laundry, their dry cleaning, and the fighter thinks it's cool because they are, look at these guys are taking care of me. But what happens, flash forward to 30, and there's nobody around to take care of you because now that manager is working with another kid that's 20. So we need to go to the boxing commission and say, what did I sign here? What am I going to sign? What does it say? How many years am I under contract? How many fights am I guaranteed? We need to educate ourselves and the fighters. We need to find out what we're doing. Unfortunately, it starts with us. And listen, me too. I signed a contract. Little did I know it was for 16 years. And I didn't even know it was illegal. And, come to find out 12 years later that it was not legal, but I didn't know any different. So you understand, we have to, the commissions have a responsibility to let these guys know what they're signing, where they're going. It's that simple. I mean, come on. We need some help, these kids. They grew up in a lot of kids grew up in rough atmospheres. We don't got the right stuff going on. We don't have the right people with us. We need help sometimes. We got to reach out to those kids and let them know what they're doing, and then they go where they go.
So you say yes for a workshop, perhaps?
I think it's great. But what I'm saying to you, yeah, it would be great. I think the WBC is involved in helping fighters after boxing. I think some of the organizations are. They need to do a lot more. Because it's a sad story. And 99% of fighters that I talk to, when they leave the game, they feel bitter about boxing. Because they didn't save any money. They didn't get taken care of. They weren't watched out for. And they're left alone. Because the guys that was helping them so much, he's gone now, helping somebody else who can make him money. Do you understand? Like, there's so much education we need. And yeah, I agree with you. Yes, let's do seminars. Let the commissions get together and start doing some seminars. Let these kids know what's going on. Yes.
Yeah. Seminars, the stables themselves need to be more proactive, I believe, for sure.
I agree.
Absolutely. That's my only question. I want to keep it flowing.
Thank you.
No problem, Big Jerry.
Hey, Troy, do me a favor and talk about the charity that you're talking about as well, please.
Oh, Jerry, I reached out to Ring 10.
Uh-huh.
Right. I reached out to Ring 10, and I have They come on Wednesday night, man, and I'm really just hoping that we could keep that going because I know it's a extremely positive, necessary, and needed thing. The same thing with FIST, you know, it's needed, it's positive, and it's just not something I want to see go away because I don't know, for funds or whatever the case may be. But I just think both these programs could work together, and we could actually do something for these fighters. But Jerry, I have a thought for you. We have a program in Baltimore called Safe Streets, right? Can you hear me?
Hold on one second. I wanted to say that again.
Okay.
Is on the shelf. We haven't done anything with it. There's also an organization, Friends of Iran Barkley. It's a great organization. It's a legit organization, and they're raising money all the time. They just did a big fundraiser. Mike Tyson was there. Larry Holmes was there. John Scully. Everybody was there. Those are the people we got to talk to about having some meetings and sit down and try and get that ticket from some of these promoters who are making millions and millions and millions of dollars off these fighters, and the fighters don't know if they're coming or going, most of them at the end.
Yeah, Jerry, but it just hurts my heart to know that, you know, like I said, I really just see these programs as a necessary thing for all these fighters that are just okay. I was telling you about a program we have here called Safe Streets in Baltimore, right? Where they hire ex-felons, and what they do is they go through a program and they set them on the street and to really, you know, talk to some of the cats that are on the street and to keep the violence low, keep the killing low. It works in most communities because they go to the most violent communities, right? I think boxing should have a similar program where you take the fighters that are retired and have been through something, and let's say, you know, you send them out to these gyms, to these gyms that are willing to listen, and you have them talk to the kids that are in the gym from like the, you know, from the 6-year-olds all the way up to the teenagers and the guys about to turn pro, right?
Yeah, I do.
You know, tell them the truth. Tell them the truth. Hey, man, you know, there's gonna come a time when you're making money, but you have to do this, you have to do that, and you have to watch out for this. And I don't see why that can't be done. I understand. It's easy to talk about, but it's more harder to get into play. But, you know, tell us how we could get something like that into play, and, you know, how we could help you get something like that into play.
Well, the problem we have with all of this stuff that we're all talking about today, and how needed it is, and yes, and I still keep saying, let's go back to the commission who's being paid for all you're doing your work that you're paying for your license. Go to your commission. When you want to put all these guys into the gyms, there's a large expense to travel. These guys, they got to eat, they got to get on the subway, they got to take a train. It's a lot of money. Where's that money coming from? You know, we have a hard time, you know, getting $1 from these promoters and these putting on these shows. So that's the problem. It always comes down to money. Where do you get the money to, and then how do you support these guys? How do you know that you're going to give them $100? How do you know they're going? I mean, I had a guy one time, I sent him on a job for Otis Elevator, and he sent me a $300 taxi bill and said he couldn't find the place. So do you understand? We have a little bit of trouble with some of these fighters too. They don't really want to work. They have to go to school and take aptitude tests and start from scratch and find out where their strengths lie and where their benefits is easiest to fit back into life again. And going to the gym is great. I think also, listen, with the lousy officiating going on throughout the world, the judges doing terrible jobs, let's train some of these fighters who are great fighters and teach them. One's a slugger, the other one's a boxer, to be able to differentiate from that while the fight's going on. Because, you know, sometimes if you were a boxer, moved all the time, you're going to favor that type of style. But if you were a slugger, you're going to favor that slugger. So we have to let these guys understand that there's two different styles going on, and we have to get that going. Why not bring fighters in? Who sees better what's going on there than a fighter? Instead, you got these people that don't know what they never even had a pair of gloves on.
I agree.
I want to go ahead and introduce another brother to the panel, Mr. Marvin McDonald. What's going on, Coach?
Marvin, I got something for you right here, bro.
Yeah.
Oh! You trying to give you the left haymaker?
How are you, baby?
Tell me if I gotta come behind him, Marvin. I'll come behind him.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Thanks.
Everybody's doing good. I was going to also tell you, Jerry, that Marvin. Well, Marvin has a program here in Baltimore. It's been around for what 30? Has it been 30 plus years, Marvin?
25.
25. Yeah, it's called. It's called No Hooks Before Books, and I know he's touched a lot of lives. I'm not sure the numbers, but I know somewhere between 12 and 15,000. You've touched
Something
Marvin,
like
something like that. Okay, well, all right, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I remember Jerry Cooney when he came to our Ring 101 meeting.
Yes.
Talked about the program that he had. It was years ago.
Mhm.
The Maryland Veterans Boxing Association.
Yes.
International Ring 101, and he came down and tell us about this program that he had about retired boxers. And, I was very pleased to meet him, man. His hair wasn't white as it is now.
Bro,
My
why?
face wasn't white as it is now. Yeah, but it was a good experience meeting him, man. And it was real cool. Matter of fact, I got pictures of me, him, and this young fighter named, Emmanuel Taylor.
How is he? How is
Yeah,
he? What happened to Emmanuel Taylor?
he fought what's his name? Adrian Broner. He lost the decision against Adrian Broner, and he had stopped boxing, and now he's trying to make a comeback.
Oh boy. Listen, I wanted to say something, Marvin. I feel it's our responsibility. I do charities 4 or 5 days a week with different celebrities in different sports, and we get to hang out and help the less fortunate. I go to an orphanage on Saturdays, and I teach the kids boxing and about how to love themselves and to take care of themselves. And once you know how to fight, you don't got to fight anymore. So
Right.
we all have a responsibility to help out. But we're talking about boxing right now and helping these kids who signing contracts. They don't even know what they're signing. They just trust the most untrustworthy people. And before
Hey, but you know what? I'm going for the boxing commissioner's position here in Maryland.
wow.
And what I'm going to do, I'm going to recommend that every boxer that boxes professional in Maryland have their GED or their high school diploma, so they can show some kind of, some kind of knowledge, man. That they know a little something, man. And that's what should be going on, man.
Yes,
These kids, man, sign these contracts. They don't know what in the world they're getting themselves into, man.
that's right.
Half of them can't even read and understand the contract, and they don't have no lawyers, and a lot of them, it's just messed up for them, man. So I want to get in a situation where I can help boxing in a whole, man. So these kids can, live right and not get messed up and misused, man. What I do here in Baltimore, right? I have a food giveaway every week for the past 3.5 years. I give away 1,500 to 2,000 pounds of fresh vegetable and fruit to the community because in the area where I'm at, there's no nutritious food, no food markets or nothing, man. They like miles away. So every Wednesday, for the past 3 years, I've been giving away fresh vegetable and fruit to the community, and it's been working real well, and I got partners that join in, to help me out. And sometimes, I give away like 3-4 pallets of fresh food, to the community. So, if you can't go forward if you don't get back, man, and we just gotta hold all our athletes and all our entertainers accountable, man, because we make them who they are.
Right.
And they should be in a mindset to give back, to help.
Well, Marvin, we were talking about, maybe you can address this sometime when you get put in your position, about taking $1 from every fight ticket that takes place in the country and putting it into a foundation and have somebody manage the money and
Right.
people need, as the fighters need it to go to school or to medical or to counseling or, you know, addiction, they can draw from it. And over a few years, it would, everybody take care of it.
Later, Mr. Marvin.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it would really be good because, you know, for the careers that a lot of these guys had and to end up with nothing,
Right.
man, it's crazy. You
Right.
know?
But the sad part about it, Marvin, is that the guys that really need it, the guys who made money, they don't need it. They're not going to try and support it. But the most guys that were sparring partners and club fighters, they struggle their whole life.
I got a question. I got a question for Marvin, and it has something to do with you as well, Jerry. Marvin, man, how have you been able to keep your program going for 25 years strong like that?
Yeah, well, we've been going strong. You know, the pandemic really helped us get more than what we have been getting, you know, in a long time, you know, because I never really closed down because I had kids in the program that really need to be in there, you know. So we went by the rules, you know, it said we only could bring 5 in, but we rotated them in and out, you know. So, you know, like if I didn't do that, some of the kids would have got locked up or some of the kids would have got killed. So, you know, I had to stay open for the community, you know. And then for the adults, you know, on Sundays, we have a free yoga class, you know, for the community.
Yoga?
Yeah,
Yoga?
yoga. Yeah. Yeah, we got a community yoga class, man. You know, and it's been working out, man. You know, it's a way that people relax and really, you know, get to know and you know, and then too, you know, we take our kids horseback ride.
Wow.
You know, every week we take the kids horseback ride. You know, what they do, they learn how to groom the horses.
Mhm.
They learn how to put the saddles on, and they learn how to ride the horses.
Wow, that's-
So the relationship between the animals and kids, you know, it really humbles them,
Yeah.
you know, and really change their way of thinking and the way of acting. And, you know, it really brings them out, you know, as far as brings out the caring aspect of people, you know.
Wow, it's amazing. You know, when you care about a horse and a horse can feel it, is no better love in the world than that. I have a friend of mine who's a horse whisperer. He just came out with a book, and he helps people who've been in traumatic problems, and he gets them to pet them, to comb them, to walk. And it's amazing. I just want to say, Marvin, that for me, 33 years ago, I put down alcohol and substance.
Uh-huh.
And the first time I went to a meeting, I heard somebody say, "Can you help me?" And I've been asking that question ever since. And it's what we have to learn to do is to let people know we're struggling. And
Right.
do that. Nobody knows. We all look fine. I mean, you know, we all look like everything's great, but inside we have to let that out. And then
Yeah.
so we got to give the kids courage to say that. Can you help me? Help me out here.
Right. Right. See, we gotta give our kids a fighting chance.
Yeah,
You
like-
know, you know, and you know, we gotta let them know that we care about them with no strings attached. That's how I get and have a good relationship with the kids that I deal with, you know, in my program, man. They know that I'm real, I'm genuine, you know, and all I want is the best for them,
Yeah.
you know, and you know, a lot of times, man, these kids, they grow up in these single parent families,
Yes.
which usually is the mother, and they watch her interact emotionally, and they pick up those emotions, and it makes them very reactionary. You know, you step on a kid's shoe, man, they
Those
gone
ten-
crazy, they want to kill you, you know? So what we try to do is change their way of thinking
Right.
and make them feel good about themselves, man. You know, and when we do that, it really changes their life because they know that you really care about them, you know?
The
And
young
all these
better.
kids, all these kids that I have in my organization, they're like my kids. They're my kids, you know, and they know that. They feel that.
And Marvin, your organization fund.
Go ahead, Jerry. Go ahead, Jerry. I'll jump in after you.
No, how Marvin? How is the organization? How does it get funded?
That's a great question.
Oh, okay. Well, I tell you, I got a great board, man. I got a great board, and what we do a couple of fundraisers a year. We do a charitable golf tournament, and we have this thing called Boxing for Books. And the Boxing for Books, that raises the great part of the money that we need to operate. But just last week, this organization called the Family League just gave us $30,000. So what I'm saying, we could do a whole lot better, but we keep it going. We've been keeping it going for a good minute, and we just trying to be the change that we need in this community.
Yeah.
And Marvin, you were the one trying to get into the legislature, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I remember having a conversation with you on the phone, but this was like maybe 3-4 months back. So that's what's up, man. So how's that been going, man? Are you any closer to that, getting into the commission or legislature, writing some legislation, anything like that?
Yeah, well, what I want to do first is get that commissioner's position, the Maryland State Boxing Commission position. And, from my experience in boxing, I don't see why it wouldn't happen. The governor and came to my program, and, they honored me at the State of the State address and talked about the No Hooks Before Books program. So my qualification, is good. And I would be the first African-American Maryland Boxing Commission. There hasn't been a African-American boxing commission in Maryland. I will be the first if I get that position. And I want to make a change, these guys, man, they sign their life away. So like I said, I want to recommend that anybody that boxes in Maryland having high school diploma or a GED, to show some form of literacy, that they understand what they signing their life away to, and I would want the whole country to follow, because we have to be the best for our people.
Marvin. So I could read, and I didn't read it when I signed it. And what we need to do is we need to have the boxing commissions sit down with these kids and let them know what this so fast. You're going to be the champ. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. You got no time to read no little lines in the paper. So you just sign it, let it go. And you trust the biggest mistake of our lives in the life. So we need to have somebody in the commission let these kids know exactly what they're doing.
Right.
That's
right. I'm saying, because everybody feel they're going to be the champ. And then you have people pump them up and stuff, and they don't really give them the truth. They do not give them the truth, man. And a lot of people throw their life away, man.
I'm still the champ.
Man, I hate to say this, but Marvin, you from over there, right? You from over there from Maryland, right?
Right.
So I don't talk down about nobody. I actually think this fighter is a great fighter, but a perfect example is right now, right? Perfect example is you have Gervonta Davis, right? He seems a little punch drunk at his young age, right? And you have people maneuvering him, right, just to make money, right? So they could get a big pay cut, but not really for legendary or anything like that. It's more like they're maneuvering him into these fights and not really think about longevity for him. You know what I'm saying? What do you think about that?
Well, see, when you got money, you don't want to listen to nobody that don't have it. So sometimes people have to find out the hard way, and the hard way when they find out is the wrong way. I don't know who he has around him that he listened to, but he need to he needs some good advice, man. You know, and I just hope that he is doing right with the money that he's making right now.
Oh,
You know, because it can get away from me real fast, man.
listen, I just want to interrupt you a minute.
Appreciate that.
Gervonta Davis is a superstar. He's not punchy. He's got a lot of money. He's got Mayweather in his corner who's helping direct him. Now, early on, he was a wild kid, but he's calmed down, and he's got some great fights ahead of him. And he is
Yeah.
anywhere near punchy. He's a superstar in the making, that kid. The guy that I really kind of feel bad about is Gary Russell Jr., such a talented fighter, just stays in the gym, doesn't fight.
Yeah.
There you go.
But see, here's the thing, right? The less you fight, the more damage that you don't get. You know?
But it's a small window we have to make that money and to become a champion or become wherever we go before we get out. You got to give it a shot.
Yeah. Yeah, but time take care of everything, man. You know, you can be on top for a minute, but Father Time knock you down, man. Ain't nothing you can do about it.
Right.
Time don't lie. That's the absolute truth. Time does not lie. Now, Major or anybody else on the panel want to jump in here?
Because Bruce hasn't spoken for a while, nor has Myron. So let's pass it around to these brothers, man. And Troy, if you could hold it down for me just for like 2 minutes.
I got you. Go ahead, Brother Bruce. Go ahead.
All right, man. I hate to change the subject. I was going to get back into boxing, but this might be a little bit relevant for this. I know, Jerry, before the pandemic, they were talking about you doing an exhibition with Larry Holmes.
Yeah.
And we were just talking a little bit about Joe Louis when he did his exhibitions for charity. But he didn't have the guidance that you have, knowing how to properly do an exhibition, how to properly distribute the money. I mean, is there still any possibility for that? Because I know the way things are in boxing today, that would be big, and that would be a huge boost for your organization, brother.
That's a very great story, but unfortunately, I'm 64 years old.
I'm 2 years older than you, my brother. And for charity, I'd get back in the ring with you.
Listen, we were going to do a tour. Larry and I were going to travel around the country, put 6 or 7 exhibitions on a year. But unfortunately, we were in a resort town at the Super Bowl, and he hit his head. He fell and hit his head on a marble, and he had a brain bleed. So that kind of knocked everything out. And listen, we're great, man. I was just with him, at his golf tournament, and we get together all year long. It would have been great to do because we're so close to each other, but unfortunately, not in this lifetime. And but we still get a lot of time together.
I hear that, brother. I heard about it a couple of years ago, and I just wanted to see if it was still relevant.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, Brother Myron. Go ahead, man.
I'm gonna jump off again. Add on to what George Clooney. You mentioned Gary Russell Jr. Do you think he?
Hold on a second. It's Jerry Clooney. Don't say George again, bro. How are you? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. You mentioned Gary Russell Jr.
Yes.
And we're gonna start. Hopefully, transition to some boxing talk. Do you think Gary Russell Jr. is one of the most ducked fighters in the sport?
He's one of the most what?
Ducked.
Well, I don't know if it's ducked or he doesn't want to fight. He's never fought more than twice a year. You got to fight 2 or 3 times a year in that little window we have. He's so talented. I love that guy. I want to see him fight all the time. That's how good he is. But unfortunately, he's not doing it. I don't know if he likes jazz more than boxing or maybe guys are ducking him. But if you become a mandatory, you got to get the fights. You become the mandatory, and he's got to be number one. He's got to be the top guy. They should be getting fights for him, the organizations. So
yeah, but don't nobody want to fight him though, man.
You got to fight. You got to fight. They got to get somebody for you to fight. It's not that you can't keep saying he can't get no fights. He can't get the fights. He can get fights. Believe me. I don't think he really likes it. Likes to fight.
I don't think he my opinion, I mean, I think he don't like fighting just anybody no more.
I agree.
He wants to try to solidify his legacy, so he wants to fight the biggest names out there.
Yeah, but they will fight him now. See that he waited so long. He's getting old in the tooth. He's slowing down a bit. He doesn't have the same juices he had 5 years ago. It's only normal. We're all that way. And unfortunately, he's missed the boat a couple of times. And I love him. He's an unbelievable fighter. And I feel bad. My co-host is always on him. I say, leave the guy alone. We don't know what the problem is. I want to see him fight. I want to see him, all his gifts. You know, you want to give that to your kids when they get older. That skill set. You understand?
Can I follow up? I want to ask a question then, because you're right. They should be giving us those gifts. So what do you guys think about this Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence situation? We know he's fighting Pacquiao right now, but it's been dragged on now for like 3 years, if not more. And then what do you guys think about that? What should happen with that? Because I am going to ask you guys about the fight this weekend, and I want to hear your perspective on what your thoughts were as far as Castagna versus Charlo. So let's start off with that one just to kind of like warm everybody up.
I want to go with first.
Go ahead.
I felt Charlo lost the fight.
Would you say, Mr. Marvin?
I felt that Charlo really lost the fight. You know.
Okay, so he went straight into the main topic. He said, "You forget about Crawford and Spence. Hey, Charlo lost the fight." Hey, I'm on board with you, but I want to hear why you thought that, though, because there's been a lot of controversy which has been stirring up the internet, because we have content creators, right? And a lot of people that have been following boxing for a very long time, you know, and it's been such a discrepancy. Like, you know, 80% of the people at the end of the fight felt that Castagna won the fight. I felt he won the fight. You know what I'm saying? You know, some people actually had it the different way, and they felt like Charlo got robbed.
Well, the guy that he fought, he was doing a lot of subtle stuff that a lot of people wasn't paying attention to.
Thank you.
You know, and bit by bit, he was getting closer and closer and closer, you know. And when Charlo realized what was happening, because his trainer told him, said, man, you know, you got to win this fight. You got to knock him. You got to do something, man.
That's a great.
You lose it, you know. So it was a real good fight. And for real, you know, I feel that Charlo was exposed, man. They have to leave Canelo alone, man. You know, you can't get in there with Canelo, you know, fighting like that, man. Because Canelo, he'll take you to the bridge, man, and throw you off.
I seen the subtleties when you're talking about he was feinting to gain that ground, because he had a 6-inch reach disadvantage, and he was inching his way in, feeling them out, getting in, and then once he got in, he was
he let them hands go.
Crazy combinations, letting his hands go, and people didn't see that, and then he had a chin on him too, because he got rocked. Don't get me wrong, but so did Charlo. You know, but when he got rocked while he was standing up, and he didn't even drop into the ropes or nothing. He just kind of like went to his intuition, grabbed onto him. You know what I'm saying? Kept moving, blocking, high guard. You know, and Charlo didn't know what to do. But yeah, man, I appreciate that, man. Jerry, go ahead, man. What do you think about that?
Oh, so much to talk about. Listen, the guy was a champion. Charlo didn't look so good, but I'll tell you one thing: if there's a rematch, Charlo will kick that guy's ass, because in that tough fight. And I mean,
break that down for us.
How did one of those judges have the fight scored so bad? That guy should be arrested. But listen, it was a good draw. And listen, and Charlo, some guys, they need to be motivated. And the guy, the opponent he fought was not really much. It was hard to get motivated. You get him in there with a guy like Triple G or one of those other top guys up there, you'll see Charlo perform. Those guys are great athletes, and they can fight. And we just didn't see him perform. Some days you get up, you go to the gym, you feel like shit, and you look great. Other days you get up, you go to the gym, you feel great, like you're going to kill somebody, and you can't break an egg.
But that's in the gym. That's in the gym.
But
You can't do that in a fight.
sometimes it happens in the fight.
Can't do that in a fight.
I know you can't, but sometimes it happens. It's normal. It's a human trait. It's a human trait that happens, unfortunately. We're not a machine, we're not a computer. Some days you just go to work and it doesn't feel right. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
I mean, but look, man, yo, Jerry, with all due respect, Jerry.
We gotta give him a little leeway. Let's see what he does in his next fight. If there's a rematch, let's give him a break.
But the thing is, I understand what you're saying, but you know, it's unfair to say that all right, let's worry about the future when we just saw right now, Castaño deserved the nod, right? That's what I'm trying to say. See, because if it was Triple G, he probably wouldn't have knocked him on the ropes. He probably knocked him over the ropes. You see what I'm saying? So you know, I just say that when it, with all due respect, because you're the champ and you 6'6", you taller than me. I'm a pretty tall guy. I'm 6'4.5". I'm not gonna back down from you, but you probably will my ass. You know what I'm saying? but no, when it comes down to it, for real. I have to be fair, and I have to say that that this dude, you know, Castaño won, and I watched all the little nuances that Mr. McDowell was talking about, and to be honest with you, I saw all the little things that he was doing in the ring that really convinced me that he was the better boxer. So yes, can Charlo tweak his game plan in a second fight? Yes, absolutely. But can Castaño also reinforce his game plan and have even more to give? You know, that's all I'm trying to say. Like, I hear where you're coming from, though.
You know, every so often you bring some guy over from Argentina, and he's a tough son of a bitch. And that happens. That's the game. But, you know, and I think Charlo, the other brother, is a little better fighter, a little tougher, a little more determination, in my opinion. But listen, unfortunately, this is what we got. And our boxing keeps getting the black eye, keeps getting the swollen lip, but we're going to have to put up with it. And I'm just saying, down the road, in the hallway, there's about 10 great fights coming, from light heavyweight to lightweight to 140 to 147 to 168. There's so many great fights coming. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about the game.
Yes, sir. I want to jump in here and kind of change the subject a little bit, because you did mention Crawford and Spence. Now, Jerry, how would Crawford go about getting any of those big fights with those guys that's claimed that they're across the street? Because it's not his fault that they don't want to fight him. So how would he get the fights with the Thurmans, the Spences, you know, the Garcias over there? How would he get those fights?
Stop asking for all the money.
He's not. No. They're asking for all the money. He's not asking for all the money.
Sometimes you have to settle to get the belt. But I'm just saying, let me just put this to you, right? Now, Crawford's a great fighter. He was a 35-pounder, 40-pounder, moved up to 40, won all the belts. Okay? He throws long punches, very long punches. Now, you get a guy like Errol Spence to get inside and throw short punches like that, it could be a lot of trouble for Crawford. Now, listen, Crawford is a beast. They're both very proud guys. It's going to be a great fight for us fans to see. But he's got to develop a little bit, too. He hasn't really had to. He got rocked a couple of times. I saw him get rocked bad in the garden. I can't remember with who. But he gets he gets chipped on the chin. He rocks. And so a guy like Errol Spence was short inside. I don't even know who you guys are in the who we're going to bet on. I got to make some money off you guys tonight, boy. Come on.
Okay, well, I'm gonna shoot this question to Marvin, because I know, Marvin, you work with Spence in the amateurs, right?
I didn't work
Marvin?
with him in the amateurs, but I've been following him since the amateurs.
Okay.
Tell the truth, right? He waited for all the guys, all the heavy hitters to turn pro before. That's why he won everything. You know, he waited for everybody to turn pro and get out of there, and that's how he got a chance to go to the Olympics, and that's how he got a chance to be where he is right now. Because back then, in the amateurs, you know what I'm saying, in the beginning, he wasn't winning anything. I used to see him all the time. He didn't win nothing until all the big boys left.
But we got some haters here, bro. No,
No, it don't have nothing to do with haters. What you have here is somebody telling the truth. You know,
well,
I
but
was there and I saw it. You know, and you know, I'm happy that he's in the situation that he's in now, right? But it wasn't always like that. That's all I'm saying.
well, it wasn't always like that for anybody, you know. But
Right.
you know, he had to when he turned pro. If those guys were still around, did they retire before he turned pro?
No, they're already pros. They already won championships and stuff.
Well, but
Now,
now,
I'm saying the same one, the Thurmans and all them was back there during that time.
Yeah.
You know,
well, let me tell you guys too. I think that Manny Pacquiao is going to give Errol Spence some trouble. His awkwardness, he punches from different angles, and it's going to give him some trouble. But
Manny Pacquiao is going to beat Errol Spence, man.
pardon me.
Manny Pacquiao is going to beat Errol Spence.
Here we go. Here we go.
Marvin, it's impossible. Manny Pacquiao cannot.
Impossible.
Hold on a second.
Come
Marvin.
on now.
Hold on a second.
You know, look.
Marvin.
I know boxing just like you know boxing, man. You know
Marvin.
what I'm saying? What makes you think that Errol Spence is going to do that?
Can I tell you-
Keith Thurman found out how good he is at the age that he is.
Can you
But
look?
Keith Thurman won that fight truly.
Really?
Can I answer
Yeah.
that question?
Yes,
Well,
100%.
the answer to that question is Manny Pacquiao is 39 years old. He can't fight 3 minutes out
He
of
ain't 39 yet.
he can't fight 3 minutes out of the round. You saw that against Thurman, who's not really as good a fighter as Errol Spence. Let's face it.
Pacquiao, I believe, 40-41.
Yeah, whatever it is, he can't fight.
So
Come on, man. All right, look. We all going to see the fight, right?
Yep.
And I'll be around when the decision is made.
Marvin,
Yeah.
I'll bet you $1 right now.
What's that?
I'm going to bet you $1 right now.
I don't bet.
Oh man, come on!
I don't bet not even $1, man.
All right, but we'll talk again. Then we'll talk again.
Okay.
Hey, so yeah, man. I don't know what Boxing Logic United talking about.
I'm
Keith
talking
Thurman
about
won
the
that fight. But yeah.
Bro,
Whatever.
about the fight.
Whatever.
Now
We'll
listen to what
discuss this on your
Pacquiao said
channel.
after.
When you go on your channel, we'll
in the
discuss this on your
post-fight-
channel because you're crazy for coming into that. Hell no.
In the post-fight press conference, listen to what Pacquiao said. Clearly.
No, the man, don't be trying to get me over here banned and stuff like that. We trying to do sabotage my live, man. You gonna play a live or something like that? No, we good, man. Listen. So gentlemen, Mr. McDowell, Mr. Cooney. So going on. Let me get briefly from each of you. Whoever wants to go first, doesn't matter. Your top 10 if you can, but at least top 5 pound for pound right now.
Wow.
Oh, Jerry got the book. Jerry got the book. He's pulling out the
Jerry
book.
got the book. I got my top 10 right here. You want to hear it? I got Canelo Alvarez #1. I got Terrence Crawford. You got to put him at #2 right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hanoi Inoue, #3. Alexander Usyk, #4. Teofimo Lopez, #5. Vasily Lomachenko, Errol Spence, and Tyson Fury.
I think that was 9.
That's enough for me, bro. That's all I got.
All right, I got you. But you know what? I'm not mad at those names. I'm not mad at those names, though. What about you, Mr. McDowell?
I don't consider any of them pound for pound right now.
You don't consider who?
I don't consider no one pound for pound right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm not really impressed with a lot of them.
Canelo Alvarez.
Please elaborate. Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying, when we say pound for pound, right, that puts them on a level, right, that, let me see, it's just I don't see any of them pound for pound right now.
So listen,
but I see some with potential to be pound for pound.
When I think of pound for pound, I think of Sugar Ray Robinson, and you're right, you can't compare these guys to him. But in today's time, what Canelo Alvarez has done from 145 to 54 to 60 to 68 to 75 is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And fought tough guys. He fought a lot of tough guys on the way.
Yeah, but it's one that he don't want to fight.
Who? Who?
Andre.
That's right.
I don't think Demetrius Andre throws enough punches.
You won't payday.
He throwing at him.
Payday.
He throwing at him.
I think he's a great fighter, but I think he's a little bit lazy to throw that many punches.
Can I also say I think Canelo ducked Sergey Derevyanchenko too.
What?
I think Canelo had the opportunity to fight Sergey Derevyanchenko, but Canelo didn't want to give up the $5 million of his purse to Sergey Derevyanchenko to make that fight happen. That's why Canelo got stripped of the IBF. Remember that?
Well, yeah. Well, dude, that's
just facts.
Hey, listen,
that's just facts.
For $5 million, I'll give him that belt. Who gives a shit? I'll get it back another time.
But that was 3 belts he had. All he needed was one more for the undisputed, and that was at 160. The last person who had the last belt was the WBO belt, which Demetrius Andre.
You guys,
Canelo want to act like didn't want to act like he's automatic at Oscar and everything for Oscar for not making the IBF mandatory deadline, which was for Sergey Derevyanchenko. He was the person who was the mandatory for Canelo.
You're talking about a man that's making a $30 million guarantee.
Hold up. I'm giving facts though.
Let me tell you the story.
Sergey Derevyanchenko was the mandatory for Canelo Alvarez at 160 in the IBF. Canelo did not want to give up $5 million of his purse, which he was getting $33 million at the moment, to Derevyanchenko to make that fight happen.
Listen,
and so that's why Canelo Alvarez. I'm speaking facts. That's why Canelo Alvarez.
You're regurgitating the same thing you just said, though. I'm not sure if you can hear me. You regurgitated the same thing you said, so let people.
No, I'm just repeating the facts. Yeah, I'm repeating.
Yeah, well, but then let other people speak facts too, because you're not the only one with facts here. Now, I'm a body that argument.
Listen.
No, but I mean, but if I finish it, you come here and try to get it clear.
You just repeated it. Let Jerry talk.
Together, guys. Can we talk together? Listen,
yeah, thank you.
You think
good Lord.
Perfect. They're human beings. Canelo doesn't make all the decisions. He's got people in the corner that plan it out. You think he was worried about Derevyanchenko? Are you kidding? No way. He had a different plan. That's all. He fought everybody. He fought Islandi Lara when nobody wanted to fight him. He fought everybody. He's a tough guy, and he's a human being. We're not perfect. We all make mistakes. Listen, I knocked out Norton that night. I picked up cocaine and a bottle of scotch. I'm human. I make a mistake.
You think he beat Lara? Do you think he won that fight versus Lara?
I did.
Nope.
I did.
Nope.
Wow.
They were close fights, but those fighters were close. Those fighters all very talented guys. Wow, I can't believe.
So all I'm gonna say, unless you wanted to jump in, McDowell, because I'm gonna jump in right after. If you want to jump in on that one.
Go ahead. You can say your piece.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this. Number one, at that time, Canelo had a contract to make $30 million a purse. Those names that you're carrying would not bring him a $30 million purse. So, as someone who's working with a promoter, that's not advised to fight them when it's not worth it. Okay. Right. You might as well move to a different weight class and make that money. Okay. And go ahead and actually gain some legacy while you're doing it. Okay. Off of a bigger name. And then,
okay. So
I'm sorry, I'm not done.
But Anthony Ilja was bigger than Sergey Derevyanchenko.
You're gonna have to relax because it's my platform. I'm telling you, I'm not done.
True. Okay. I'm just asking.
Don't ask until I'm done. Don't ask until I'm done, brother. Thank you. So what I'm trying to say is, when you move down in weight to go for legacy and become undisputed in the 4-belt era where it's never been done, right? That he's searching for legacy. He's already explained it. This guy has not duck smoked his whole career. He fought Mayweather when he was 22. And been fighting champions ever since, brother. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and respond and tell me what you feel. But I'm giving you facts.
No, I'm gonna speak just facts. Here's the facts, and you know it too. I've heard you personally say that Islandi Lara beat Canelo. You said it yourself on this platform.
I thought in my mind that he won. Absolutely. I
Thank you.
said that in my mind. I thought that he won. Yeah.
Okay, so it was 33 million a purse. And don't get it wrong, I'm just speaking the facts. If it's not about Sergey Anthony Yildirim is not bigger than Sergey Derevchenko. Rocky
No, but
Fielding was
that
not
was a
bigger than Sergey
mandatory
Derevchenko.
for his goal of becoming
Well,
undisputed at 168, brother.
Well, hold on, you said don't cut you off. Now you cut me off, Major Key.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm saying, off the logic you just said, he wasn't big enough to make the purse, which was 33 million. I'm just throwing that logic back to you that Anthony Yildirim, Rocky Fielding, and these guys wasn't the names that you're saying. So it has to be consistent. But it is fact that Canelo didn't want to give the $5 million of the purse. This has been reported by ESPN, boxing, all that stuff. He didn't want to give up the $5 million. That's why he was stripped of the IBF belt, because they didn't meet the deadline to fight Derevchenko, who was his mandatory. This is documented fact. I'm done.
Okay, so let me say my last statement, then we're gonna pass it around because this channel today is with guests that's not about Boxing Logic United or Major Key. All right. So my last point to make to you, right, is you're talking about Rocky Fielding now. No. We're talking about Anthony Yildirim. You brought that one up, right? Okay, great. So now don't forget that the 2 times a year that Canelo normally fights are in May and in September. 2 Mexican holidays. He gave us a free one to get that mandatory out of the way in February. And he fought 3 times in what, 6 months? And you mad at the dude for that? You mad at him for gaining three belts in that amount of time? Are you nuts?
Yeah, I mean, what
Come on, brother. You gotta think a little deeper than that. But anyway, look,
this is all good shit.
you guys can go ahead. Go ahead, Jerry.
The fight game is great. Listen, we're not perfect. Fighters aren't perfect. They don't pick the right people all the time. They don't get up all the time. We're human beings. Some days we feel like shit. Some days it don't feel good. Some days I don't want to get out of bed. I have all the same shit you guys got. So do these guys. Give them a break. Give them a little room once in a while, for crying out loud. They're fighting. You got to give them a break. This is a hard game. You sitting back on the fucking microphone talking about it. They're in the ring fighting their ass off. Give them a break. Just because they don't do it your way, you can't crucify them for that. He's a great fighter. All those guys I talked about tonight are great fighters. Man, pat them on the back. Love them. They need it. That's where I stand.
No doubt, no doubt. So, Marvin, any response to that? If not, we'll let Bruce Goes ask a question.
No, I'm good. I'm just listening.
All right,
I'm
man.
giving you a break.
Yeah, because I know we hit the top of the hour right now. That's why I was trying to bring it around again. But you know, we short on time. So Bruce Goes, go ahead, man. And if you want, go ahead and ask your final question. Then we'll bring it back to Troy Graham.
All right, no, that was just very heavy. I enjoyed listening to it. Maybe if I'll ask Jerry one more question. Jerry, are there any fighters that you see out there today that you'd like to train that would handle your style, that on your toe, aggressive forward boxing, punching style with that dynamite left hook? Is there anybody out there that could fill those shoes?
Listen, that part of boxing, everybody's like sparring. They're not getting into the body. It's getting better. It's coming back. But all those great trainers that we had, the Eddie Futches, who's the guy out of Philadelphia who was such a great trainer? So many great guys.
Georgie Benton.
Yes, George Benton. They all passed. And we got a watered down version of boxing for a while. But it's coming back a little bit. And the guys are back moving. Errol Spence loves to work the body. That's what we need. Complete fighters. Get inside. Get out of the way. Don't get hit. You know, protect yourself. Land those shots. Put the guys to sleep. That's what I like to. I love to work with punchers because I like to watch the expression in the opponent's face. And when you land that body shot and you see the expression on his face, you just gotta make you smile and say, "Okay, I got you, bro."
Absolutely. That's a lost art, Jerry. And you were a master at those body punches, man. I don't think you could count how many ribs you broke in that ring, brother.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Who else?
Me, Jerry. I tell you, I have a question for you, and I'm going to make a closing comment here. Somebody in the chat wants to know who's the hardest puncher you faced in your career.
I'd say obviously George Foreman caught me with a shot in the second round, but he also told David Letterman the hardest guy he ever could hit was me. I hit him with a left hook to the body, left hook to the chin, and he was just so determined. That guy, he was so determined. He was not going to take no for an answer. I remember him. He got his ass kicked for 7, 8 rounds against Holyfield, and he got back to the corner and he said, "Okay, I'm going to get him this round. I'm going to get him this round." Or was it Davey Moore? And then he went and knocked him out. And, you know, you got to love those guys. Those guys were, there was no quitting them. No quit, you know, and he was around for a long time, stayed durable.
Yeah, it was Michael Moore, not Davey Moore.
Yeah, Michael Moore. And the best fighter I ever fought was Larry Holmes. And he was a great fighter and a great champion. He fought everybody. Everybody they put up against him. And I love that man. And I'm so glad that I had a chance to go in with such a great champion. Even in losing.
Yes, sir. So, yes, you know what? I love this. This is what I like to call reality boxing talk. There's no chaser here. There's nothing that's actually made up. We just talking raw from our hearts and our soul, and we went around the gambit with what we talked about, and we got a little heated. And I definitely love it. And I'm going to say what I always say. Jerry and Marvin, you know you're my brother. You always have a social media home. You can call me at any time. And hey, if you want to advertise anything, a fighter coming up, a fight coming up that you're involved in, you're more than welcome to come back. I love having this song. I love having you on, Jerry. I love having you on, Marvin. Bruce and Myron, thank y'all, man.
Hey, hold on. Don't be kicking my guest out prematurely.
I ain't kicking them away. I'm just saying. I'm telling. Hey. I'm just telling them the truth.
Boxing Logic United, my brother, man. Like we argue all the time, so he needs to plug his channel, and then we're gonna go back to Jerry and Marvin to get obviously what they're doing and where the people can support them and find them. But first, Boxing Logic United. Go ahead, Myron. What you got to say, man?
Oh yeah, no. It wasn't heated at all with me. I just like talking boxing and talking.
No, I think he was talking about them too. I think he was talking about them too because that's the first time that we've seen them. Yeah, that like getting into it.
Ain't no problem. I just like only know what's out there. I've been watching the sport ever since, of course, my days in Golden Gloves. So it's just like I just call it how I see it. It's a lot of things. Y'all know I'm no chaser. I just speak what I see. You know what I mean? And respect to everybody on the panel. Of course, Mr. Clooney, Mr. McDowell, everybody. Just I like to talk. I'm raw boxing talk. You know how we do.
Right.
It's the major key. I love the sport, so I'm passionate about it. But you can check out Boxing Logic United anytime. And expect me just to say my mind.
Yeah, it's cool.
Go ahead, Myron.
No, Bruce, go ahead.
Hey, man, I just appreciate the fact that you guys called me up for this panel, man. You know, being on here with the legend Jerry Cooney, man, the trainer Marvin, Troy, Boxing Logic, man. The audience was popping out there, bro. You know, it was definitely cool. It was an honor to be here, man. Everybody out there, you see me all over the place, man. I'm on the right, I'm on the left of the internet. I'm everywhere, bro. And nothing but mad love and respect to everybody out there and to you panel. Peace.
Mr. Goes, thank you so much. So Marvin, you were the last one to show up. Go ahead and tell everybody where to support your foundation, where to support your gym, and all the everything that you're trying to do as far as your aspirations. Where do they support you at?
Yeah, well, my website is nohooksbeforebooks.org, and you can go to my website and see all the work that we're doing. And I'm saying, if you know, we have a PayPal account. You know, if you want to donate, they got a PayPal button, you know, on the website, you know, and I guess that's it, man. You know, I love boxing, and I love working with the kids, and, you know, boxing is my life. And
all right. I know you talk to Troy all the time, man. Please send him the link so I can add it to this. I can edit this later and add this to the description, so everybody can know where to support with that. And Mr. Cooney, of course, man, always a pleasure. I'm still gonna hold you to doing a fight card with me, where we're gonna call it on a Saturday. We got to do that sometime soon.
Listen, I got to fight tonight, bro. I got to fight. I got my bride over there, my wife. Listen. You
want a pay-per-view or free? Which one you want?
So I'm on Sirius XM channel 156 Mondays and Fridays between 12 and 2. There's a ultimate fighting show before us and one after us. I'm also got a book out. It's called Gentleman Jerry. It's on Barnes and Noble, Amazon. It's a great read about the times and the struggles and the going up and the life today, which is the greatest thing in the world. I traveled the world. I got some great friends in the fight game. You know, I help people every day because that's what we're supposed to do. I love being on with Marvin and all the things that he's doing. And I applaud that because there's not enough of people like that around. We need to spend the extra 5 or 10 minutes when someone says to me today, I was at a charity outing and they said, "Oh, my father really loves you." I said, "Do me a favor, give him a call right now." And I got on the phone and talked to him. Those are great moments that we can both share in. And we got to remember that and learn to love ourselves. And you get that?
Right.
Love ourselves. Whoa, hold on a second there, bro. Hey, was that a karate chop, bro?
Yeah, no.
Go ahead.
Mr. Jerry, you said something. Before I close, Mr. Jerry, you something you said was overlooked that was very, very, very powerful, and I think it would be awesome if you, I guess, regurgitate that message often when you go speak and everything. You said off the back of Mr. McDowell, where he was talking about books and hooks and everything. You said when you came into the fight game, you said you could read today, but when you started fighting, you couldn't read that well.
No,
I believe that's
no.
Huh?
I always could read, but I didn't give it. I didn't care. I didn't have. No one taught me well. What are you going to sign? No one told me about it, and I didn't care. I was going to become a professional, so I just bypassed it and just signed the paper. It was a big mistake that we all make as young kids, and the commission needs to stop it.
Yeah.
The commission needs to get together with their lawyers and explain what these kids are signing.
So you think it's important that we encourage fighters to read more?
Are you kidding? Come on.
I'm just.
We got a life to live. Boxing
So
start. We need
there
to.
we go.
I
think we should push that a lot more often.
Hey, I told you, first time I went to I put down a drink. I went to a meeting. I heard somebody say, "Can you help me?" I've been asking that question ever since, and I always got someone to help me. You hear me? Thank you, guys. I love you guys. Thank you.
No problem, man. I know we were short on time. I appreciate you guys staying over a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But hey, again, Jerry, send that also so that I can put that in the description. All of those links for your book and everything, and I'll put it in the description. I'll edit it and add it onto there. All right. But besides that, we'll catch up for one of these major fights. Salute to you guys. Have a great night.
Salute to you, Mr. McDowell.
Right, and I got one final word. You know me, I'm like a Baptist minister. I always got something else to say. Critical thinking is what you're talking about, Jerry. That's what you're talking about. These fighters lack the skills to think. Some of them, I can't say all of them, lack the skills to think in the spur of the moment, right?
They're so
And then-
excited about their life and being a pro. They just want to go. They don't pay attention to it.
Exactly. It's all that excitement.
I'm faulted for it home here today with my wife. I got a great wife, and she pays attention, and it makes me not have to pay attention so much. But you understand, we need to develop those skills, those people skills. Come on. Love you guys.
Strength and sobriety, Jerry. Peace.
Brother.
Thank you.
Thank you. And everybody.
Mr. McDowell. I'm in DC, baby.
You guys have a great night, man. Another great edition of Made
Man, you know,
Keep
sir.
Boxing, man. You guys support, man.
And everybody in
Appreciate
the
you guys.
chat,
Thank you.
everybody in the
Yes,
chat,
sir.
we
Everybody in the
definitely
chat.
love and respect you for all the loyalty, for always coming out and giving us the most important thing you have in life, which is your time.
Mhm.
So
Yes, sir.
amen on that. Amen on that.
Amen.